Well, hey, good morning, everybody. It's Dave coming to you from the Wyoming office again. It is Wednesday, November 12th. It's about coming up on 9 o'clock in the morning here in Wyoming. It is time for part 5 of our Weight Loss Wisdom series. This is where I'm going to take you through the next 2 phases, month 2 and month 3. Let's do a quick summary to make sure that you're not jumping ahead, right? That you're not trying to jump phases. So it's my opinion that will just result in complete failure and frustration, and this whole process will be yet another I tried everything when you really didn't. So we got to summarize. You now understand the science behind what we're trying to do. You've written your why, and you started to review the reference YouTube channels I provided, or you found your own, but you're starting to do research, you're reading, you're understanding, you're watching, you're growing your headspace for why this stuff works. And now you've also, at this point, if you move on to this phase, you've done a month now of phase 1. You've done a month of the beginning phase. So you're doing 2 meals a day. Your eating windows down to 6 hours a day. You have an 18-hour fast window every day. You cut out alcohol. You cut out sugar. You cut out refined salt. Those are all gone. You've cut sodas out of your life. You've either cleaned out your house, or you at least stopped buying crap and bringing it into your house. And you're now drinking 4 quarts of water and black coffee every day. And you've been doing that for a month now before you proceed on to what I'm talking about in this video. Because you should, at this point, be starting to see real changes. Your stomach should be used to less food. It should be used to now all the crap being out of your life. The sugar addiction should be gone. The alcohol addiction should be gone. The stomach should be actually getting smaller because you're eating differently. And, that 18-hour fast window should be changing you, and your stomach should be good with the beginning phase. And if not, don't go on, because it probably means you're cheating. All right. You're either not being consistent, you're not being continuous, you're dabbling. And you've got to get past the dabbling stage up here. You've got to put in a good month with all these little tick marks from the last video and what I just summarized, or you're not ready to move on. Okay. So I don't mean to sound harsh, but this process that I'm living through, it doesn't deal well with dabbling. You've got to commit to it, right? We've talked about you've got to make the decision. You've got to do the prep work, and that beginning phase is critical before you move on. So that's my warning, and now we'll head into the next phase of this process. Okay, so we move on to the next phase. So what I mean by that is we're kind of talking about, I've written these things in month phases, and it doesn't have to be perfect, but it fits pretty well. So I'm now talking about, so the beginning phase was weeks 1 through 4. Now we're talking about weeks 5 through 8, 9, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 5 through 8. You're talking about month 2. And you've had a good, clean, consistent month 1. You're now moving on to the next phase. I'm calling it the intermediate phase. I made these phase names up. But what does that mean now? To go from the beginning phase to the intermediate phase, it means more changes now, but you should be ready for it. So before you started this process, you were at kind of level 0. You've spent a month changing that foundation now. You've moved up, and you've created that foundation of the beginning phase. So as I ask you to take the second step to the intermediate phase, it's not as drastic. If you're trying this, if you're trying from doing nothing right to what I'm about to tell you to do, I think it's going to be too big a change and you'll fail out. You've got to do it. You've got to let your mind and your body and your stomach get used to what you're doing. All right, so what does this mean? To move into the intermediate or the next phase, you've got to reduce the eating window again. So you're reducing it from a 6-hour eating window and an 18-hour fast window. You're now reducing that to a 4-hour window, a 4-hour eating window, and a 20-hour fasting window. The way I did that is I moved my meal one, my first meal, to 3 p.m. and my second meal stayed at that 6:30, 7 p.m. window. To this day, that's still my my meal. Um, so that's the first thing you gotta do is you gotta compress it. For me, it worked out well for me to I keep moving the beginning of my eating window, and I leave my end of my eating window alone. But you got to reduce it from 6 hours to 4 hours. That's the next step. So the second part of this is now you got to remove all your carbs. So you've already taken out all your sugars, your alcohol, your sodas, your refined salts, all that crap food is gone. It's now ready. You're ready to take out the next set of crap foods, and that's all the carbs. So that means all the breads, all the crackers, bagels, toast, cereal, oatmeal, all that crap has to come out of your life. And so it's as big or bigger a step than the first step. So you're reducing to a 4-hour window and you're cutting out all your carbs. It also means you change what you eat when you eat. For your 2 meals a day, you're changing what you eat. Because I've probably already told you, you have to get rid of probably 80 or 90% of the shit you've been eating. So what do you add in? You have to add in meats. I mean, that's kind of any kind of meat that you like: beef, chicken, pork, fish. Not so much, I guess, what they call like the bottom feeders. I don't mean lobster. It probably sounds stupid to you guys, but lobster, crab, shrimp, you want to stay away from those a little bit. And fish means salmon. If you're into it, sardines, kippered fish. All those are things to add in. You want to add in eggs, good, high quality, organic, pasture raised. And you want to add in good, high quality, hard cheeses. You have to stay away from the American cheeses, the cheese spreads, the cheese whizzes, whatever it is. You have to stay away from all that. They recommend staying away from cream cheeses, just things that are processed and whipped. Usually they put in a lot of sugar and it ends up blowing up your diet. But if you stick with the hard cheeses, the aged cheeses, that's something you can add in. I added in fresh blueberries, I added in shelled walnut halves, and I added in high quality, high cacao chocolate, dark chocolate. So anyway, those are just things. So this is a big change, right? Closing the window, scraping out all the carbs, and starting to add in high quality foods. I'm going to show you some of the things I did. All right, I'll show you kind of what I use. I mean, I get nothing from these. This is not product endorsement. These people have no idea who I am, but I'll just show you. These are the actual eggs I purchased. Let's see. These are the actual blueberries. I like the giant blueberries. So I eat one of these every other day. So it takes me, sometimes I eat a whole one of these for my meal, but I usually eat half of one of these every single night. The walnuts, I buy a couple different brands, but shelled, half walnuts. Eat a handful of those. I added those to my meals during this phase. And then this is the actual chocolate I added. The brand doesn't matter. This matters. You need like 70 or 75% or higher. And then this doesn't blow up your blood sugar. You don't eat the whole damn thing, right? These are squares. I eat 2 squares, 1 or 2. Added that to my meal during this intermediate phase. So anyway, those are the products I added, and that's how you're going to get to the next phase if you take these steps.